So far, we have seen 2 episodes of the WWE Cruiserweight Classic being broadcast on the WWE Network. Now, I believe that they may have filmed up to and including the quarterfinals, but as I said in the preview, I want to watch this as the tournament is broadcast on the WWE Network. And so far, when it comes to the programs on the WWE Network, we are halfway through the first round. So we have seen 8 matches of the first round, with 8 more to come. And I'll talk about the matches, the results of the matches in a few minutes. But there's a couple of very important things, at least in my opinion, to talk about in this Cruiserweight Classic. First of all, the structure of the tournament. And I'm glad to see it's very, very simple. 32-man single elimination tournament. Matches have a 20-minute time limit. We'll wait and see whether that is adjusted or changed by WWE as the tournament goes on. But it's very simple. You lose a match and you're eliminated. Although this week the commentators, kind of presenters as well, Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan mentioned during one of the matches that if either of the competitors fail to win, then both are eliminated. In my opinion, should that or would that happen? I sincerely hope not. This tournament needs a complete tournament of winners and losers in the match. If they want to give the guys more time, then great. Give them more time. Let them battle it out. Give them an extra 5 or 10 minutes if it comes to it. But I know again there's more matches being filmed that we have not seen yet. But I would not like to see it. I think WWE should have this winners and losers in these matches, and so it's a complete tournament done properly, so they could always look back and say, right, we did it as a proper tournament. If they want to kind of introduce that aspect to a later tournament or another version of, who knows what future the Cruiserweight Classic has, whether this be the only one, which I know that they're hoping it's not, but whatever happens, maybe introduce that in another tournament, if they want to introduce a storyline aspect to it. I would really not like to see a match where neither man win so that both are eliminated. I don't feel that should happen. I hope WWE does not book any of the matches remaining that way. So also, the winner of this tournament, also say before we move on, actually Corey Graves is of course in the control room recapping everything that's going on. He's doing a good job. Of course, he's being promoted now to one of the main television program commentary teams, which is good on him. And talking of the Cruiserweight Classic, I mean, the winning aspect of the Cruiserweight tournament has been unclear as to what exactly does the winner get. We've seen a trophy used in the animations, the intro. Obviously, the winner, whoever wins the Cruiserweight Classic, gets a lot of, got a lot of bragging rights, a lot of respect earned, of course. But it has been rumoured these past couple of weeks that the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic may be crowned the Cruiserweight Champion. The Cruiserweight division is, of course, upcoming. We don't know exactly when. I'm assuming when the Cruiserweight Classic is done and dusted, the Cruiserweight division will take their place exclusively to Monday Night Raw. And, of course, this is an opportunity that I don't think WWE have ever offered before. To go from such a competition, entering WWE, depending on who wins it, of course, but somebody coming into WWE, because these are not guys that are under WWE contracts. I'll talk about that in a minute. But coming into a competition like this, then skyrocketing to potentially a major spot on Monday Night Raw. Never has WWE ever before offered this sort of opportunity. Now, speaking of signings, quite a few people, myself included, have thought, okay, they're going to sign a few of these guys. It's a great opportunity for WWE to sign some fresh faces, some new talent that we may see eventually after they work at the Performance Center for several months, finally make their NXT television debuts, then maybe a couple of years down the line, go onto the main roster. So again, this is a unique opportunity that, even though a lot of these guys have worked 10, 13, 15 years in the industry, and some, I think TG's worked at least about 20 plus years at least. We will see these guys, because if you've got a champion, a cruiserweight, if these rumours are true, if the winner is crowned cruiserweight champion, you'll need challengers. So we may see these guys be given a unique opportunity in WWE to actually make their way instantly to the main roster, which is absolutely amazing, a fantastic opportunity for them. So like I said, some of these guys getting signed. Well, there's been reports that the likes of Grand Metalik, aka Mascara Dorada, Akira Tozawa, and a few others, including Cedric Alexander, may very well have been or will be signed to WWE contracts. So this is a great opportunity for them. It's again a great way for WWE to sign fresh talent, and I think it's a fantastic chance for these guys to make the step up. Like I said, some of these guys work 10, 13, 15 years, so it's a fantastic possibility for these guys to really make their name. Again, it's opportunity never ever offered before by WWE, and these guys, I'm sure, are willing to take it. And I do believe that we'll see a few of these big names actually be signed by WWE once this Cruiserweight Classic is done. I think then, and only then, we'll get the announcements that several of these guys have actually been signed. So I want to take a look at the matches that we've seen. As I said, we are now halfway through the first round. Again, they've taped up to the semi-finals, and I want to watch this as the tournament goes on. It's obviously taped at Full Sail University using a different setup than NXT. So the first episode, and each episode we see 4 matches. So we saw the first 4 matches on the first episode, 4 matches on the second episode this week, and we will see again the remaining 8 matches of the first round be spread over the next 2 weeks. Again, even though it's an hour-long program, the matches actually seem to get a decent length of time as well. They do get about 10-15 minutes, so it's really good to see. These matches are not rushing. I'll talk about what I think of what the matches that we've seen overall after I go through these matches. So on the first episode, we saw Grand Metalik representing Mexico against Alejandro Saiz representing Chile. This was really good. As I said in the preview, they are really presenting it as a sporting endeavour. 205-pound weight limit. The guys were genuinely weighed. Whether they're weighed again, I don't think really they should. I think they should kind of let these guys bulk up again, or recover any size, kind of like they do in boxing. They weigh them a few days before. Or mixed martial arts as well. A really good showing by Grand Metalik, one of my favourites wrestlers in this tournament. I watched him in CMLL for a couple of years now. Really great athleticism, jumping on the ropes, twisting around on those middle ropes, and delivering a great drop kick. Size actually showed himself well. That amazing shooting star press to the outside when Metalik was really good. And of course, Metalik took the win in this match by delivering that kind of Michinoku driver. His mask, if you see it, his mask did actually come off. Of course, he kept his head down. It's one thing that a lot of Mexican wrestlers, luchadors, are taught. If your mask comes off, hide your face. It's a very much a cultural thing, a very historic thing in Lucha Libre. It's all to do with the mask, and it's very dishonourable to be seen without your mask on, or obviously to lose it, or it's one of the things that the heels, the bad guys, do in Lucha Libre, is to try and rip the good guys, baby faces, masks off. So it was obviously edited out. So we saw. I mean, I'm sure if you probably watched it on really slow motion, you could probably see his face, but it was edited out to the point where he was having his hand raised by the referee, which is a great thing. The referee takes the competitors in the middle of the ring at the end of each match and raises the arm of the victor, so it's very clear to see who actually wins. So Grand Metalik took the victory in that first match. Arya Davari, representing Iran, versus Ho Ho Lun, representing Hong Kong, China. This first show of a heel as Davari refused to shake hands. Very aggressive, pulling hair, maintaining headlocks, did the face slaps, and Lun certainly was being the underdog, the kind of valiant underdog in this match. Davari missed the... this thing, I think some of the psychology in a couple of these matches have been a little bit off. Davari went for a big splash far too early in the match, and of course Lun got that German suplex for the pin to advance into the next round. A really good match. It's a pity we will not see. Again, I'll talk about that after I go through the match, but it's a pity that we might not see very much for some of these competitors. Clement Pitois of France versus Cedric Alexander, the USA. Some really good springboard stuff by Alexander. He's really athletic, of course, former Ring of Honor star. He had a few really good moves. That springboard clothesline that he did was really great. Of course, he did a belly to belly into double knee backbreaker for the win. Cedric Alexander seems to be one of the guys that the fans are really behind. They seem to be really behind Cedric Alexander, and Cedric Alexander in the next round apparently had a really good match. We'll talk about that. Kota Ibushi representing Japan versus Sean Maluta representing American Samoa. This was actually a really good technical match. Again, a kind of almost a valiant underdog match by Sean Maluta. Kota Ibushi is one of the top junior heavyweights in Japan, and he really, again, he's one of the guys rumoured to be signed possibly by WWE, and I would love to see a genuine, serious cruiserweight division presented by WWE, and I'll keep saying it. I'll keep saying it until we get it, because I really think that is the future. That is a possibly really good. I mean, I'm surprised that the cruiserweight division is going to be on Raw, not SmackDown. I think having it led by somebody like Daniel Bryan would be great, and I think maybe WWE think it's too obvious to have that kind of thing, but Kota Ibushi, that great triangle moonsault to the outside on Maluta, fantastic, one of his signature moves. And then hitting that last ride powerbomb, sit down last ride powerbomb by Ibushi for the win over Maluta. A really good match. I think this first program had a couple of good matches to actually kick off this tournament. Kota Ibushi versus Sean Maluta was the main event for the first program, and I thought it really lived up to it. Obviously, they're certainly using the bigger stars as the attraction. They're main eventing, it seems, the shows, because I think we see Brian Kendrick actually have the main event, the last match, in next week's episode. I'll go through the matches for the next couple of weeks as well. So it was I was really impressed with the first episode. Again, Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan did very well in the commentary. They're very well researched. They know them. Hopefully, I think they've been talking to the guys. They've studied these guys. They know the moves. Of course, Mauro Ranallo used to do the commentary for New Japan, so he knows Kota Ibushi's stuff. And I really think I really came away with a good impression of the first episode. I thought, yeah, this is serious wrestling. This is professional wrestling. It's not sports entertainment. Again, which I think should be the line that they go down for this cruiserweight division. I think it could make a serious difference to WWE. So I'm very impressed. I really liked the first episode and look forward to the second episode. Second episode started with Tajiri defeating Damian Slater. That was a good match. A lot of controlling arm work, wrist locks, hammer locks, some really good agility by Damian Slater, that twisting pinfall attempt on Tajiri, where he ended up Damian Slater facing the lights and has he back on Tajiri. That was a really good manoeuvre. I think Slater shows promise, very agile, actually both guys hit each other with some good kicks, and to be honest, I was a little bit surprised to see Tajiri win after he took the opportunity, hit the buzzsaw kick, and win. I really thought I saw potential upset in this match. Slight jobber aspect to this match, I thought, at the end, as Slater was a little bit, maybe slightly too easily beaten, but a good, decent match to kick off. TJ Perkins versus the Mac. Obviously, TJ Perkins, he's well known. Former TNA stars, Suicide, Manic, Mac representing Germany. I think TJ Perkins representing the Philippines. Both these guys have quite good, decent characters. I don't know too much about the Mac. TJ Perkins, I've not really witnessed him as himself, obviously, but certainly two very flashy guys. I think Mauro Ranallo actually called them both charismatic enigmas, which, was that a dig at Jeff Hardy, or was that just his opinion? Difficult to know, but I'm sure he knew that's one of the nicknames of Jeff Hardy. Perkins, very agile guy. Again, it's a very, very good technical match. I think it was the Anthony. It was another match, but they exchanged chops. Some of the drop kicks were really good in this match, and of course, TJ Perkins again. The ending again to this match was slightly jobber to me. This is another thing it's slightly annoying to me about this match and the Tajiri Damian Slater match. It just, and a couple of these matches, it just seemed that they had good matches, but then it seemed almost like they ran out of time and then they had to go home, as it is called in professional wrestling. They had to end the match, so the winner just took the victory, hitting the move that they had to hit to take the pinfall, or hit the move that they needed to win. And of course, I thought though TJ Perkins, his knee bar in the middle of the ring, making the Mac tap out was good. We've seen pinfall so far in the tournament, and to have a submission. Of course, this we've seen different styles in this tournament over these matches, which is really good. These guys showed what they could do. Again, I'll talk about that after I go through all the matches. But a really good match. I'd like to see a rematch of these between these guys out with the tournament. Obviously, hopefully we will see that as time goes on. But certainly two good personalities. I think they could actually have a good rivalry. I really do think they're both obviously presented as kind of egotistical. They think I think TJ Perkins and Damac said it actually different ways, but they both said that basically they're the ones that make wrestling look good, and it's really easy for them to look that good in the ring, and it's really easy for them to do all these moves. So I think there's a potential good rivalry, maybe even a tag team. I don't know. I think it possibly would be better off as a rivalry, but there is, I think, potential there between TJ Perkins and Damac in the future. I really think I would be averse to seeing a rematch between those guys. Then it was Lindsay Dorado versus Mustafa Ali. Now this was, I would actually see, again, many of these guys I've not seen a lot, but I was really impressed with the athleticism, the ability of Lindsay Dorado, the Golden Lynx. He said, obviously that's one of the good things, is before each match we get a small promo just about 30 seconds showing each competitor, which I think is a great touch. It's kind of shown, obviously, WWE footage, and there's a little bit of evolved footage from, was it WWN Live, but which is a great touch. But I think it's great that we kind of get a recap of course this is, of course, for the vast majority of the fans that are going to watch this Cruiserweight tournament, they've not either heard of many of these guys, they don't really know these guys, or are not too familiar with with these guys. So we get introduced to these guys before each match, which I think is really good. Lince Dorado had a few really good flying head scissors in this match. I was really actually surprised when I think it was the head scissors that he did on the apron. I was really surprised that Lince Dorado was actually able to stay on the apron. I thought he was going to end up crashing down to the mats below as well, but he was able to hold on and actually remain on the apron. Of course, I believe with Lince Dorado that moonsault that he did. There's a really good picture on it on WWE.com. He hit it really well. A couple of the moves, I can't remember. I don't think I put it in my notes anyway. There was one match. I think there's been I think there's a couple of matches. Certainly, the Sean Maluta match. I don't think, for some reason I haven't got it in my notes. But he tried to do a kind of somersault tope and took off just a little bit too early. Maybe they're not used to the size of the ring or whatever it is, but a couple of the guys have crashed and burned on a few of those aerial moves. Sean Maluta didn't quite get it. There was somebody that hit, I think it was kind of like a moonsault or twisting body senton, and they ended up crashing down a little bit. They didn't hit it. So I think obviously, it's just like, to be honest, it's a little bit like the Will Ospreay Ricochet match. People were criticising them for doing all the aerial stuff that they did in that match, but to be honest, my opinion is, obviously you want to keep that stuff. You don't want to take that risk every match. You don't want to do these big moves, these big dangerous high risk moves every single match. But you're talking about major matches here. You're talking about major opportunities. That's always been the thing about some of the wrestlers. They talk about, keep that stuff to the big matches. This is the big matches. The Will Ospreay Ricochet match was part of the Best of the Super Juniors. And these matches have the potential of getting these guys WWE contracts, whether it be NXT or the main roster. This has the potential of being life-changing to them. So it's a major opportunity. Anybody who says this is not a major opportunity for any of these guys, they're wrong. So I don't, although a few of these guys have crashed and burned, I don't feel, obviously, hopefully they'll know what they're doing. I don't want them to just attempt something that they've never attempted before and seriously hurt themselves. I don't want to see that, of course, but this is an opportunity that I would say, yeah, it's okay to go for some of these high risk moves. The Lince Dorado hit a fantastic springboard reverse hurricane rana on Mustafa Ali that really spiked Mustafa Ali into the mat, which I cringed a little bit at that move, but Lince Dorado, he had a really good shooting star press to win that match. Really, I was really entertained by Lince Dorado. I think he could be one for the future in WWE. I think he is one of the guys that WWE surely should take a serious look at. Again, first impression really of Lince Dorado, but I think that is a guy that WWE could really be interested as the tournament goes on. We'll wait and see what he does in the next round. The main event for this week's programme was Akira Tozawa versus Kenneth Johnson. Now, Kenneth Johnson actually reminded me a little bit about of former WCW TNA star Elix Skipper, African American, quite tall, bit lanky, you know, a bit thin. You know, a lot. Again, to be honest, I'll say this right now. Backstories. We've heard of obviously a few of the backstories, and I'm not going to really go into. I didn't really take notes on all the backstories and personal histories of the guys. I don't really buy in. It's not buying in. It's not really the correct term. I don't really pay attention very much to backstories. Partly because there've been so many of these television reality shows, X Factor, Britain Got Talent, and various different ones that a lot of the people actually on the shows, they have backstories, and it's always a little bit of a sob story. It's always, you know, this happened to me, and that happened to me, and this happened to family. And of course, I'm not saying that it's anything. It's not sad, or it's very unfortunate some of these things happen. But I really don't particularly hugely pay attention to these backstories. It's just, you know, so many of them I've seen on these kind of reality shows. But you know, Kenneth Johnson has a decent backstory. But I think working on a speech impediment for and conquering it within 6 months is quite admirable. A lot of people, of course, struggle for many years, and that's how some wrestlers don't really go as far as they possibly could do with their in-ring skills, because they find it difficult to speak. But this was a really good match. Really, the story of the Akira Tozawa Kenneth Johnson match was stalemate. Each man hit moves and the other countered them, or the other one came back, and through a lot of the match it was stalemate, to be honest. You know, so I don't think I put it in the yeah, there in my notes. Johnson actually trained with Mr. Hughes, which it's surprising. You know, Mr. Hughes is kind of a weird figure in wrestling these days. You know, he's been in various companies over the years. I'm not sure what his status now is these days, but you know, Mr. Hughes still pops up there, here and there, or his name pops up here and there. But a really good match. Again, you know, a few really good moves. Johnson attempted a Phoenix Splash off the second ropes. Tozawa managed to evade it, and he hit a really good couple of German suplexes. But again, they went back to stalemate pretty quickly. Akira Tozawa took the victory after, again, it was a little bit in this match, a bit of the running out of time, the winner needs to win, where Akira Tozawa just kind of almost a little bit hulked up a little bit, hit a bridging German suplex for the pinfall to eliminate Johnson and advance to the second round of the Cruiserweight Classic. So that's the matches that we've seen so far. I know it's not exactly an expert view on them. Looking at the results, looking at the matches so far that we've seen, no upsets so far in this tournament. I thought we may see one or two upsets in this tournament. I think it's fair to say WWE are interested in the bigger names. I think they're interested in the more high-profile names at this point. Again, several of these guys rumoured to possibly be signing with WWE. I would like to see an upset or two, but I don't get the feeling that we're going to see it. Again, the Tajiri Damian Slater match, I would not be averse to seeing Damian Slater actually take the win on that match, because I think, you know, somebody beating somebody like Tajiri, who is of course a high level competitor, very well respected for many years. I thought that would be a great launchpad, even if they don't win the tournament. Again, it's a story that WWE could latch on to, or again, I said in my preview these guys, even if nothing comes out of it just right now with WWE, then they've got the bragging rights of they were in the Cruiserweight Classic. Even if they went out the first round, they were looked at by WWE. They're possibly even being looked at by WWE. Maybe WWE will send a few of these guys out and saying, okay, we're not going to sign you right now, but go out, get travel the world a little bit more, work on this, that, or the other, and then maybe next year we'll come back and maybe we'll sign you then. Because a few of these guys are quite young, so maybe we'll see a few of these guys, if they are not signed right now, or after the Cruiserweight Classic, maybe we'll see them actually make their way to WWE in the future. So no real upsets again, which slightly surprised me, and I don't think we'll get any next in the next couple of weeks. So the second round qualifiers so far in the matches that they have: Akira Tozawa, who will face the winner of Jack Gallagher versus Fabian Rickner. Tajiri will face Gran Metalik. Ho Ho Lun. We have Kota Ibushi, who will face Cedric Alexander, a match which a lot of people have been commenting on online, saying it was a hell of a match. I don't know who won, but apparently, I know on Wikipedia, if you look at it, and I looked at it very, very quickly, Wikipedia is up to date with the way that the Cruiserweight Classic is in the taping, so if you want to know the winners of the non-yet televised matches, you can look on the Cruiserweight Classic on Wikipedia to see the results. And also the other two qualifiers for the second round so far, TJ Perkins and Lindsay Dorado. Now, I have to say, watching these first two episodes, I'll just get to that in a second, because next week, confirmed, we will see Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tyson Dukes, Harv Shearer versus Drew Gulak, Anthony Bennett versus Tony Nese, and Raul Mendoza versus Brian Kendrick. Again, I expect that match, Mendoza-Kendrick, to be the main event next week. And a little bit annoyingly, we will have to wait here in Scotland for the last week of the first round matches to see our own Noam Dar as the final, the fourth and final episode of the first round. We will see Jack Gallagher versus Fabian Rickner, Noam Dar versus Gaurav Shira, and that Rich Swann versus Jason Lee, and I believe probably we'll see in the main event Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. So that is the matches that we have still to see so far. So far the Cruiserweight Classic, I've enjoyed it. I thought it's really good so far, some really good matches. We've seen different styles so far from all these competitors. The matches, in my opinion, they've been good, and they haven't been, although a few of the matches, as I said, they have been slightly jobberish in the endings of them. It's a little bit of the running out of time, we need to go home, so the winner needs to hit the winning move to get the pinfall or submission. The matches themselves have not been squash matches. They've actually been quite competitive matches, especially the Kenneth Johnson, Akira Tozawa matches. What other matches? Very quickly go through it. The Arya Davari Ho Ho Lun match was very competitive. Kota Ibushi versus Sean Maluta was very competitive. Obviously, TJ Perkins the Mac match was. Lindsay Dorado, Mustafa Ali. Again, I think basically all of the matches have been quite highly competitive. So it hasn't been a case of, oh, here comes Tajiri, he's going to win. Here comes Akira Tozawa, oh, he's going to win. Although we have not seen any upsets yet in the competition, it hasn't stunk of, okay. And I said in the preview, I feel sorry for some of the guys that are facing some of the higher profile names, and I've been proved correct so far that these higher names have advanced in the tournament. It hasn't been squash matches. The matches have actually been very competitive, which is a great bonus. It lets the guys who obviously they go into the match knowing that they're going to be eliminated, knowing that this is going to be the only match in the tournament for them. They actually have an opportunity to get their offence in, to show some of what they can do and have the opportunity to catch WWE's eyes. So it's been really good so far. Hopefully we will get to see some non-tournament matches as the competition advances. Certainly the semi-final, the final. I would like to see non-tournament matches be taking place where we get another look at some of these guys who have been eliminated in the first or second rounds. The guys that we haven't seen too much of, I'd like to see them. Firstly, so the fans can see more of these guys. Secondly, so that these guys can show off what they can do. And thirdly, so that WWE has another opportunity to take a look at these guys, so that WWE can see honestly and truthfully, because I know they've done a lot of training, but so WWE can truthfully look at these guys and say, okay, who do we want to sign? Because they've got call-ups that have happened this week in the draft. There'll be more call-ups from NXT over the coming year. They'll need to keep replenishing NXT and the main roster with stars, so keeping these guys, even if they only work in the Performance Center for several months, then make it to NXT and then eventually move to WWE, it's a great possibility for WWE to sign these guys to. I'm sure many of them, whatever the contracts that WWE offer these days for NXT roster, it's a great opportunity for these guys, which many of them, I'm sure that they would accept, just for the opportunity to possibly work for WWE and to have the opportunity to improve their skills and have. WWE has always stated that nothing is guaranteed there, but all that they give people is opportunity, and I'm sure many of the people involved in the Cruiserweight Classic would love just an opportunity, just their time. We've seen it with numerous guys, ex-WWE guys that troll the independents nowadays, making a lot of money and doing really good stuff. We've seen it can be life changing, even if it doesn't work out with WWE. But so far, I've really enjoyed the Cruiserweight Classic. I think it's been a lot of fun. Different styles have been showcased. Hopefully we'll continue seeing that. Hopefully we'll not see these guys dragged down to a kind of WWE style. I noticed, I think Daivari, a couple of the guys, certainly Daivari, and I believe if I can look at who else it was, I think Daivari and Clement Patois, or Patois, however you call it, I think those guys kind of tried to work a WWE style in their matches. Hopefully, they will not be, again, upcoming Cruiserweight division. Hopefully they will be able to go out there and do what they do and show what brought them to WWE. Again, there's a massive opportunity for WWE. I really enjoyed these first couple of episodes. Looking forward to finishing off the next couple of weeks, the first round. Also, I'll be talking about those episodes as and when I can, which is why I've covered episodes 1 and 2 on a single video, which is why it's so long. But certainly enjoying the Cruiserweight Classic. I think the overall reception to it has been extremely positive. I think a lot of people have taken a look at this and really enjoyed it. I know, again, there have been some comments about athleticism and not really a lot of wrestling. So maybe some of these guys going on will, can maybe, again, maybe change their style up a little bit, change what they do in the ring to, again, show WWE and show people what they can do. They just are not springboard high flying guys that they can actually wrestle as well. So I think overall though the response has been very positive, and I look forward to seeing more of the WWE Cruiserweight Classic.